Welcome to My Money Buddy, the monthly update in May 2020. What a month it's been. Debt funds have been heavily in the news on the back of six credit funds which wound down the schemes mainly because the companies that they had lent to are not able to service the debt. What this really means is that if you had parked money in these funds, including one of the ultra short term funds, which is meant for short term parking, you cannot access the money till the time the scheme gets its money back from the companies that it has lent to. Not a great situation to be in. It's really important to choose products right. And I have had so many calls from people asking about how does one really choose the right debt fund. Well, there are 16 categories of debt funds that are available. What I would recommend is first and foremost, please stick to three or four main categories. That is the overnight fund, which is typically for a day or two, a liquid fund, which is up to a month, and then you have the low duration scheme, which is typically for 3 months to about 3 years. And finally, short-term funds, which are for periods of above 3 years and above. If you can hold your money for over 3 years, then please invest in a short-term fund. But if your holding period is only a month, you might want to look at a liquid fund. Now, within these categories, it's important to diversify in 2 to 3 funds. More importantly, when you are studying the funds, you need to consider something known as YTM, or yield to maturity. Now, what is this? This basically is the average yield that the fund has, and you would find that the yield to maturity and the expense ratio typically would be in a range for most funds. So if you find a fund which has got a higher YTM and a higher expense ratio and also a higher concentration in more risky bonds, which are typically AA minus going on to single A, then these funds basically take more risk. So it should be easy for you to use this method to figure out whether this is a fund you want to get into, because remember that anything that's been giving you a higher return is certainly going to be high risk as well. You also need to keep yourself abreast of the happenings, and you can do this by following my blog and all the content that we get out on FinSafe, as well as follow what the newspapers are talking about debt funds. That was on debt funds. Continuing with the COVID relief measures, this month the government allowed you to do a partial withdrawal from NPS for medical treatment of self or for dependents. Now, typically you can withdraw from NPS after 3 years of being in it, and you're allowed to withdraw for various reasons. You can withdraw up to 25% of the amount, and now medical treatment for COVID has also been included. One of the other changes that also happened last month was the fact that the IRDAI, which is the Insurance Regulatory Authority, allowed policyholders to pay their annual premiums on a monthly or a quarterly basis. This is for those policyholders who are facing a cash crunch right now due to the current situation. 2 points to note on this would be that one, when you move from an annual to a monthly premium payment, your premium will actually go up a little bit. And two, there may be an impact at the time of making a claim. So the way it works is that when you're making a claim, then whatever is the balance premium that is due for the year would be deducted and claim would be paid out accordingly. My advice would be to continue to pay the annual premiums if you can. If you're not in a cash crunch situation, I would still recommend continue to pay the premiums as you've been paying them. Another thing that I have been hearing a lot now is paying rent through credit cards. Well, if you're doing it for points, it's okay. But if you're doing it as a delaying tactic to actually pay the rent from your account, then I don't think that you're in a very good financial situation. And I would really recommend you to think strongly before using the credit card for these large payments, because If you don't end up finally making the credit card payment, remember you're going to be paying interest at 42%. So stay safe and also keep your money safe. That's it from me. Do click on the bell icon to subscribe and do keep writing into us with your queries. Till then, bye bye.